Buenos días. Bienvenidos a mi clase de español de hoy. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Yo estoy muy bien. ¿Y tú qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Hoy vamos a hablar de liking and disliking. Es una clase de gramática número 3, number 3. Un clase de gramática número 3, number 3. And we will be focusing, as I say, on liking and disliking. Although this grammar class is forming part of future study and work, this really is a standalone class. I'm not going to be using language for future study and work specifically, but the purpose of this grammar exercise or this grammar class is to prepare us for the next future study and work episode proper, where we will want to talk about our preferences for part-time work. So what type of part-time work we might look for in the future, and say why as well. So, okay. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have to, pause the video right now and go and get yourself some papel y un bolígrafo, paper, a pen, papel, bolígrafo, un cuaderno, an exercise book, because you're going to need to be doing a little bit of writing today. And not too much. This is a very simple matching activity. So if you haven't got paper and a pen, go and get it now. Put me on pause. I will assume that you've done that and explain to you the task. So we have 15 images, and I'd like you to write in a column 1 to 15 in your books or on your piece of paper, 1 to 15, and I want you to simply try to match the Spanish phrases and words with the images. So for example, if you think that número 5 aquí means here, by the way. It's A-Q-U-I. A-Q-U-I, aquí. If you think that this image aquí, número 5, es los concursos, por example, then you're going to put an H next to the number 5. Okay? If you think that 11 is a picture of las noticias, you're going to put M next to 11. So I want you to pause me and do that. A little bit of advice, and it is this: do the stuff that you can guess at or you know, the easy stuff first, and work kind of backwards from there, so that it's basically a thing about diminishing sort of return, so that it becomes, with the harder stuff, you've got less and less things to choose from. So use that as a sort of strategy. Put me on hold. When you're ready and you've written out your numbers and your letters, come back and we will correct it. Bueno, entonces vamos a corregir. We're going to correct. Okay, so número 1. Este es el presidente, ¿no? And the selection that you should have made is el líder del mundo libre. Leader, easy. Mundo, world, libre, free. Okay, so this is the leader of the free world, el presidente de los Estados Unidos. And at this point, it's worth pointing out libre is the word for free, as in free as a bird, not free as in free of charge, which is the word gratis in Spanish, gratis. Libre, free, gratis, free, and gratis in free in the sense of free of charge, no money. You could also think of our English word liberty to help you remember libre for free. One very good expression that we see a lot is aire libre, which is A-I-R-E, one word, and then libre, the other word, which is literally translates as air free. And aire libre is how the Spanish say outdoors. We might say out in the fresh air kind of thing. It's that idea, isn't it? Two things to remember. Or three things really. Libre is free, as in free as a bird. Libro with an O on the end is the noun meaning a book, un libro. Think about a library maybe. Libro with an O is a book. Libra with an A on the end is a pound, as in a pound money, sterling. Okay, so you want to say £2, dos libras is £2 as in the money. Okay, libre, adjective meaning free as a bird. Libro, noun meaning book. Libra with the A on the end is a noun again, and it means a pound, as in a pound sterling, a pound money, currency. Okay, número dos. Your parents might recognize these two guys as an American band from probably the 80s and 90s. And actually, if your mum and dad's around, perhaps you want to challenge them to say who these people are. And I'll tell you at the end of the correction what the answer is. So, número dos es N. So, N is N in Spanish. Las barbas largas, long beards, or the beards long. Remember, adjectives and nouns are usually switched round in Spanish, so they don't say long beards, they say beards long. Largas is a tricky one because it looks like it should be the adjective for large or big, but it isn't. It means long, so be careful with that. Largo, larga is long, not large. Okay, barbas, that's quite easy to remember, isn't it? Barba, barbas, barba, a beard. Okay, las barbas largas. 3, el broccoli, a. So it's 3A, tres A, el broccoli. Remember, accents in Spanish tell you where to hit the word. So the emphasis, the stress of the word is not going to be, for example, broccoli or broccoli. It's going to be broccoli, broccoli, because that's where the accent is, and it tells you where you need to stress the word. Número 4, H, which is how you say H, H. Los concursos. Concursos means competitions generally, but if you were talking about TV shows, you'd be talking about games shows, that type of thing. So Millionaire, Pointless, The Chase, that type of thing. So concursos, game shows, or more generally competitions of any sort really. You could have a concurso de ajedrez, which would be a chess tournament or chess competition, for example. Número 5. Y, which is how you say I in Spanish. Y. Los tatuajes, tattoos. Okay, that should have been pretty easy to guess. 6 is J. J, that's how you say J in Spanish. Las películas de miedo. The films of fear, which probably you could recognize as horror films. That's one way the Spanish talk about horror films. Las películas de miedo. And I really wanted to introduce you to the word miedo at this point because it means fear. It's useful because in Spanish, if you want to say I'm scared of something or just I'm scared, they don't say I am scared. They say I have fear. Tengo miedo. Tengo miedo, I have fear, is how the Spanish say I am scared. Tengo miedo. So you will either see las películas de miedo for horror films, or you'll probably also see las películas de terror, like terror. Las películas de terror. Okay, horror films. Número 7. Fe, or se, which is how you say see in Spanish. Fe, or se. El cambio climático. El cambio climático. Climate change. Cambio, change. Okay? 8 is F. F is how you say F. La gente alta. La gente alta. Literally the people tall. Gente is a very useful word in Spanish for people. La gente. And although when we talk about people, just like we do in English, the word is singular, people, it's obviously describing more than one person. So it's a strange type of noun, that, isn't it? So we don't say la gente altas because gente is singular. La gente alta, tall people. 9 es K. K is how you say K. El pelo verde. Hopefully you might have remembered verde is green, even if you couldn't remember pelo is hair. El pelo verde. 10. M. Las noticias. Las noticias, it's like the notices, isn't it? It's actually the word for news, las noticias. It can mean news as in on the TV, like the BBC News or Sky News or whatever it is, or it can mean news in a more general sense. So if I wanted to say good news, buenas noticias. Buenas noticias, good news. Buenas noticias. 11. Es B. El helado de fresa. B. El helado de fresa. The ice cream of strawberry. That's how they say strawberry ice cream. Fresa, strawberry. El helado de fresa. Don't pronounce the H. Helado, not helado. 12. 12 is the letter D. So we've got B and D. Las arañas grandes. Grandes we probably know is big. Arañas is the word for spiders. The only word that I can think that comes close in English is like arachnid or arachnophobia. Is kind of spider related, isn't it? So arañas are spiders. 13 es las telenovelas, like telenovels. That is the word in Spanish for soaps, as in TV soaps like EastEnders, Hollyoaks, Emmerdale, Holby, all of these shows, okay? And the Spanish love them. Telenovelas. 14 es. Now, this is pronounced G. That's how you say G in Spanish. Very confusing because you might well think it means J. G is actually the word for G, okay? And this is los aparatos electrónicos. Can you guess what we would translate aparatos as in this sense? What sort of words might we use in English for aparatos electrónicos? So I would suggest gadget or device, electronic gadgets or electronic devices, aparatos electrónicos. Muy bien. 15 es A. Now be careful, I've told you lots of times now that the letter E in Spanish, when you see it in any word, is always pronounced the same way. It's like A-Y, and that's how you pronounce the letter E. It's pronounced A-Y. Okay, so if you want to say this correctly, this ka, the word for green hair, it will be el pelo verde, like an AY sound all the way through with these E's. El pelo verde. Okay? So, E is la comida picante. Comida, food. Picante, spicy. Okay? La comida picante. La comida picante. Muy bien. Well done if you got all those correct. Hopefully you were able to guess quite a few of them. Now, I will just explain that in Spanish, if you want to say I like, it's me gusta. Here it is, me gusta. So if you want to say I like broccoli, me gusta el brócoli. Me gusta el brócoli. Okay? And me gusta actually means, to me, let's think of a good way of explaining it. So it would be, it pleases me is a good translation of me gusta. So, or rather, me gusta, it pleases. So although we translate it as the way to say I like, it's probably more accurate to think of it as me it pleases, or it pleases me. So me gusta el broccoli, it pleases me, the broccoli, literally. Or I like broccoli, that's what we would say, isn't it? If you want to say I really like broccoli, you could say me gusta mucho. It pleases me much, the broccoli. That's how the Spanish say it. Me gusta mucho el broccoli. If I wanted to say I don't like something, it's no me gusta. Here it is, look. No me gusta. No me gusta. I don't like strawberry ice cream. No me gusta el helado de fresa. No me gusta el helado de fresa. If I want to emphasize that I really don't like it at all, no me gusta nada el helado de fresa. Nada means nothing. So this is hard to translate, and literally it sounds weird. It's something like, it doesn't please me nothing, is what it translates as, which is clearly rubbish, isn't it? Tonterías en inglés. Bueno. Most of these, hopefully, we will familiarise ourselves with these expressions and phrases as we go. And I think most of them are reasonably sort of straightforward to remember, bearing in mind that these grammar classes are kind of aimed at people who have already been doing Spanish for 2 or 3 years. Bueno. A point of interest, the Scoville heat scale for chili peppers. So just, I'm quite interested in spicy food. I like it. And you can see how madly hot some of these chilies are. So if we look at something that maybe we know, which is a jalapeno, where is it? Jalapeno, here it is, jalapeno, 2,500 to 8,000 on the Scoville heat scale. So jalapenos are those little green peppers that you buy chopped up in jars quite often that go on your tacos or your fajitas, for example. And they're quite hot. So compare the maximum strength of a jalapeno on the Scoville scale as 8,000, 8,000, to something like the brilliantly named Carolina Reaper at 2,200,000, and you get an idea of how crazily hot some of these peppers are. And I was quite interested in this because I always thought that the ghost chili was the strongest, and look, it's right down here. Look, the ghost pepper right down here at just a mere 800,000 to 1 million. Anyway, muy bien. So today's lesson is focusing on what I call me gusta type phrases for liking and disliking. And we're going to start at the beginning and understand that if you want to say I like, let's just concentrate on broccoli because it's nice and easy. El broccoli. So if I want to say I like broccoli, it is me gusta el broccoli. Me gusta el broccoli. Okay? We know it's broccoli, not broccoli or broccoli, because there's an accent on that O, so we know that we hit that vowel. Broccoli. Me gusta el broccoli. And think about it like me, it pleases the broccoli as a better way of translating it, because that's the structure. Me, it pleases the broccoli. And straight away we should notice that the Spanish, when they're talking about things they like and dislike, they include the article the, which sounds odd to us, isn't it? So we would say, where we would say, I like strawberry ice cream, the Spanish say, I like the strawberry ice cream. El helado de fresa, for example. I like game shows is, I like the game shows, los concursos, for example. We probably should just quickly review the idea and the concept that in Spanish there are four ways of saying the. There's 2 for single things or nouns, okay? El and la. So, for example, and then it depends on whether the thing is masculine or feminine, whether that noun is masculine or feminine. El is for masculine things, la is for feminine things. So we can tell straight away that broccoli is a masculine thing because it's got L in front of it. So if you want to say the broccoli, it's el broccoli. We can tell that food, comida, is feminine because it's got the feminine, the la comida picante. And that shouldn't come as much of a surprise to us because comida's got an A on the end, and by now we should certainly be familiar with the idea that nouns and adjectives that have got an A on the end are usually feminine, aren't they? And in the same way that a noun like helado, ice cream, nouns that have got an O on the end are usually masculine. And that's confirmed by the fact it is el helado and not la helado. So the ice cream, el helado. So el is the masculine the for one thing, and la is the feminine word for the when you've got one thing. If you are talking about plural things, it's los and las. Los concursos, las noticias. Los when you want to say the for masculine plural. So we're talking about game shows plural, concursos, is los concursos. Las noticias, news, it's feminine, news, las noticias. Okay? Excelente. Now back to our gusta. If you are saying I like a singular thing, one thing, it's just me gusta. Me gusta el broccoli. Me gusta la gente alta. I like tall people. And although that sounds like it should be plural, by the way. Gente is a singular noun. Okay, even though when we talk about people, we are in our minds referring to a group or plural, the actual word is singular. So it would just be me gusta la gente alta. Or I like green hair, me gusta el pelo verde, for example. I like the leader of the free world, me gusta el líder del mundo libre. As soon as what you're liking becomes plural, though, whether it's masculine or feminine, you have to put an N on the end of that word. Because what you're actually saying is, if you remember I said that think about me gusta as it pleases me. So, me gusta el broccoli, it pleases me, the broccoli. If you wanted to say arañas grandes please you, which is big spiders, when you put that N on the end, what you're saying is they please me, the big spiders, because it's plural, me gustan. And if you cast your mind back to us talking about verbs and the different endings that you put on the end of verbs to change who is doing the action, and N is a sign of they very often, or no, it's always a sign of they. In the same way that mos is a sign of we doing the action, and so on. Okay, so remember, me gusta mucho, I like a lot. No me gusta nada, if you wanted to say I really don't like. They're good expressions to know. By the way, it's very easy to make these type of expressions negative. You just put a no on the front. So, me gusta el broccoli, I like broccoli. No me gusta el broccoli, I don't like broccoli. If you want to sound super Spanishy, this is an option that those of you that can take this on board could use, and the Spanish do use, is to say a mí. And it's like me, I don't like, me, I like broccoli. A mí me gusta el broccoli. A mí me gusta el broccoli. Like, to me, it pleases me, the broccoli. A mí. Or me, I like tattoos. A mí me gustan, because it's tatuajes plural. A mí me gustan los tatuajes, for example. I'm whizzing through this, guys, but the good thing about videos is if you don't pick it up the first time, just watch the video again or rewind it, okay, if you're not following it. So there's loads and loads of this type of me gusta structure phrases. So other examples that we see a lot are me encanta. It enchants me, literally. Or me, it enchants, me encanta. We just use love. So if you want to say I love broccoli, me encanta el broccoli. Me encanta el broccoli. If you wanted to say I love game shows, a mí me encantan los concursos, for example. And the other thing to be very careful with this is when you want to say I hate or I prefer, you simply use these two words in blue. Odio, I hate, or prefiero, I prefer. Odio, prefiero. And you do not put a me in front of it, okay, which is a common mistake, and I can understand why people do it. So it's not me odio or me prefiero, it's just odio. It's really easy to use these two. So if you want to say I don't know, I hate horror films, odio las películas de miedo, for example. I prefer spicy food, prefiero la comida picante. Prefiero la comida picante. So, yeah. Just expanding on now from these things, we're going to look at a few other things. So if you want to say I like broccoli, it's me gusta el broccoli. If you want to say you like broccoli, it's te gusta el broccoli. If you want to say he or she, it's le gusta el broccoli. Okay, so me, te, le. Me gusta, te gusta, le gusta. And it's exactly for the same for all of these other types of me gusta type phrases. So let's pick another one. So if you want to say, so interests me is me interesa. If I want to say, what should we have? If I wanted to say green hair interests me, it will be me interesa el pelo verde. Me interesa el pelo verde. If I want to say green hair interests you as a statement, it's te interesa el pelo verde. If I want to say green hair interests him or her, it's le interesa el pelo verde. That's how it works. The te I've put question marks by because this is one that you might want to use when you ask a question of somebody. So if I wanted to say, does green hair interest you? That's what we'd say in English, isn't it? It's simply changing your voice and going, ¿te interesa el pelo verde? ¿Te interesa el pelo verde? So the statement and the question look the same when you write it down, and they are the same when you say it, but it's how you use your voice. So to differentiate between a statement, green hair interests you, I know it does, which is a statement, or does green hair interest you? All you do in Spanish is change your voice to say, instead of te interesa el pelo verde, you're interested in green hair, I know this for a fact, to a question, are you interested in green hair? You just go, ¿te interesa el pelo verde? If I wanted to say, okay, so let's look at another one. Encanta means to love. Well, we translate it like that, but when you say me encanta, it's really like saying it enchants, or me it enchants. Me it enchants, me encanta. If I wanted to say, do you love spicy food, comida picante, I'm just going to use my voice and I'm going to say, ¿te encanta la comida picante? It enchants the spicy food. That's sort of the meaning of it. ¿Te encanta la comida picante? So we're learning quite a lot in this lesson, aren't we? We're looking at how to form questions as well. We're talking about how you say the in Spanish, the 4 different ways that you need to know to say the. Now these yellow phrases are quite easy to remember, I think. Me gusta, we know, is the like one, isn't it? It's the bog standard I like. Me encanta is I love. Me interesa is how you say it, kind of, it interests me. Me interesa. And it's a very nice thing to say because you could say in Spanish, is interesting. So if you wanted to use basic Spanish, you could say, for example, green hair interests me. Oh, sorry, green hair is interesting for me. Para mí, el pelo verde es interesante, is interesting. It's easier to do it that way because it sounds more like what we'd say in Spanish. But if you want to sound really Spanish, use this me interesa form to say, me interesa el pelo verde. Me, it interests the green hair. Similar to me interesa is me fascina. It fascinates me. Me fascina. Me apasiona. It kind of impassions me, or I'm passionate about is what we'd say in English. So I'm passionate about climate change. Me apasiona el cambio climático. If I wanted to say I'm crazy about or mad about, it's chifla, mola. So actually these 3 here, apasiona, chifla, mola, all have a similar kind of meaning. They mean I'm mad about, crazy about something, as in super keen on something. The way I tend to differentiate chifla and mola when I'm putting it in a memorized set is that chifla begins with C, M begins with, mola begins with M. So usually I translate chifla as crazy about, I'm crazy about, and mola as mad about, but essentially they're the same thing. So if I want to say I'm crazy about tattoos, it will be me chiflan, because we're talking about plural tattoos here. it will be me chiflan los tatuajes, for example. If I want to say mad about, me molan los tatuajes, but they're the same thing. It's the same general idea. If you want to say, now this is a great phrase, and it's kind of on its own and in the middle because it is an in the middle phrase. Because if you want to say I don't mind something, as in it's not, I don't love it, I don't hate it, it's me da, I keep losing my cursor here, me da igual. That means me it gives equal. That's the literal translation of that phrase. Me da igual, it gives me equal, or me it gives equal. Igual, equal. So if I want to say I don't mind game shows, in fact, let's pick a singular thing first. If I wanted to say I don't mind spicy food, it's going to be me da igual la comida picante. Me da igual la comida picante. I don't mind spicy food. Again, if it's plural, I've got to add an N on here. So if I wanted to say I don't mind game shows, or I don't mind game shows, it's going to be me dan igual los concursos, for example. Me dan igual los concursos. I don't mind them. Me dan igual. You can also use da igual or me da igual in kind of a fairly negative way, in a way that we would say whatever kind of thing in English. So if you're having an argument with somebody and you've got to the point where you want to walk away and you want to be rude and you want to say whatever, you go da igual, da igual, da igual. That's kind of whatever in Spanish. You probably shouldn't use that. And for the GCSE, think of it as I don't mind something, me da igual. Next, molesta means to bother or irritate. It's that kind of idea, or annoy. So if you want to say broccoli annoys me, me molesta el broccoli. Me molesta el broccoli. If you want to say broccoli irritates her, it will be le molesta el broccoli. Broccoli irritates him, le molesta el broccoli, and so on. Preocupa. Preocupa is a really nice one. It means worry. Those of you that are good at English might know the word preoccupied. So if you say, oh, I don't know, David's a bit preoccupied today, what we mean by that is that he appears to be thinking or worrying about something. He's got something on his mind. That is preoccupied. So that helps us to remember preocupa, meaning worried. So if I wanted to say I'm worried about climate change, it would be me preocupa el cambio climático. Me preocupa el cambio climático. If I wanted to say, are you worried? Are you worried about climate change? I'm going to need the te, not the me, and I'm going to say, ¿te preocupa el cambio climático? With a questioning voice. ¿Te preocupa el cambio climático? Are you worried about climate change? ¿Te preocupa? Aburre. Okay, most of us know aburrido for bored or boring, that adjective, aburrido. Here we've got the verb actually, aburre. So when we say me aburre, it means me it bores. Literally, me it bores, me aburre. So if I want to say tall people bore me, me aburre la gente alta. Me aburre la gente alta. If I wanted to say the news bores me, las noticias, plural, it's going to be me aburren las noticias. So you've got the plural N on the end here. Me aburren las noticias. So literally, they bore me, the news is what that means. They bore me. Or soaps bore me. Can't stand EastEnders, Holby and all those sort of things. It's going to be me aburren las telenovelas. Me aburren las telenovelas. So we've got all these nice phrases that we can use. Me gusta, me encanta, me interesa, me fascina, me apasiona, me chifla, me mola. So this is kind of positive stuff at the top here. And really, me apasiona, me chifla, and me mola, you could use any of those and it's going to have that same sense of being super keen on something, mad about or crazy about or passionate about. Me da igual, I don't mind. I'm not crazy about it, but I don't mind it, kind of thing. Molesta, for me molesta, for it annoys or bothers me or irritates me. Me molesta. Me preocupa is it worries me. I'm worried about it. Me preocupa. And me aburre, for it bores me or I'm bored by something. Okay? It's really easy to make all of these things negative because you just stick a no in front of it. Okay? No me gusta. No me molesta. That's a nice one, isn't it? No me molesta. I'm not bothered about something. No me molesta or no me molestan las arañas grandes. I'm not bothered by big spiders. No me molestan las arañas grandes. Or, yeah, that's probably quite a good example. So we've got, if we wanted to be really Spanishy in our conversation, we could add a mí at the front of it and say, a mí me encantan los aparatos electrónicos. So to me, I love electronic gadgets. A mí me encantan los aparatos electrónicos. And it's encantan because it's got the plural end, because aparatos is plural, isn't it? Devices or gadgets we're talking about. A mí me encantan los aparatos electrónicos. Or if I wanted to say, me, I'm interested in I'm interested in climate change. Is going to be a mí me interesa el cambio climático, for example. A ti, you're passionate about spicy food. A ti te apasiona la comida picante, for example. Or you've also got a él and a ella, but I don't want to get too carried away with this because it's enough for one day, I think, or for one class to take this on board. And remember, I hate is just odio, that's it. And I prefer is prefiero. Again, that's it. So we don't have any of this kind of structure at all. It's just odio and prefiero. I hate big spiders. Odio las arañas grandes. Odio las arañas grandes. I prefer green hair. Prefiero el pelo verde. That's it. Now, those of you that are looking to use it higher type language, I've got some other stuff at the bottom here. I've put disfruto de in amongst these, but actually it's not really higher level. It's something that you should know. And disfruto de, think of it as enjoy. I enjoy. Disfruto de. The de usually means of or from in English, de. And probably maybe a better way of thinking of it as I take pleasure from disfruto de. So if you wanted to say I take pleasure from the news, which would be unusual these days, I think, it would be disfruto de las noticias. Or just simply translate as I enjoy the news. I enjoy strawberry ice cream. Now that would be something that a lot of people would agree with. Will be disfruto de el helado de fresa, except it's not disfruto de el helado de fresa. It would be disfruto del helado de fresa, because the de and el is not a combination the Spanish like. They contract it and it becomes del. Okay, disfruto del helado de fresa. I enjoy strawberry ice cream. I enjoy broccoli. Disfruto del broccoli. Okay, these three phrases are higher level, I believe. Enganchado means hooked. Literally, it can mean hooked as in like a fish, but it can also mean hooked in as in the sense of addicted to something. So I'm addicted to electronic devices would be estoy enganchado a los aparatos electrónicos. Estoy enganchado a los aparatos electrónicos. Or I'm addicted to long beards. That would be weird. Raro. Estoy enganchado a las barbas largas, and so on. And then finally, two sort of quite negative phrases that you could use. Puedo, this word here is very common because it's the word for I can, puedo. So it's a very useful word to recognize and be able to use. Puedo, I can. No puedo, I can't. So we've got two ways of saying something that means much the same. No puedo soportar, no puedo aguantar, for I can't bear, I can't stand. I can't stand long beards. No puedo aguantar las barbas largas. I can't bear tall people. No puedo soportar la gente alta. Okay, so I've given you lots of alternatives here for giving your liking and disliking sort of opinions about things. Now, at this stage, guys, I'm going to ask you to, so beneath this video in the description, I have put a copy of this. You can either print it or just have it up on screen. So there's a link to this which will bring it up on your screen. You can print it, you could download it, do what you like with it, but you will want to be able to access it for this exercise. So to give me a break from speaking, there's 12 little phrases or sentences here, and I want you to pause the video and have a go using this at translating these into Spanish. You don't need to use really the a mí, a ti, a él, a ella unless you want to and you feel confident with it. It's just really the main part we need. So if you're asked to say, for example, I'm interested in game shows, all I really need is me interesan los concursos. You could say a mí me interesan los concursos if you really want to, which is great, but that's a step further, isn't it? In the same way that if I wanted to say he is not bothered by the news, you could say what I'm expecting from you is no le molestan las noticias. No le molestan las noticias, because it's he, remember, so it's not me or te, but le. No le molestan las noticias. Molestan because it's plural, las noticias. You could, if you wanted to be really, really impressive, you could say a él. A él no le molestan las noticias. That's great if you can do that, but I'm not expecting that from you. So pause the video at this point. Have a go at doing these sentences as best you can. It doesn't matter if you get them wrong. That's not the purpose of this. It's just to get you to think about it. And in fact, if you get them wrong, when we correct them, it means more to you and you will learn from the corrections. So don't worry about not getting it right. Just do what you can. So pause me, come back, we will correct it. Okay, we're back and I'm going to correct these. Voy a corregir las frases. Voy a corregir. I'm going to correct. Voy a corregir. Or vamos a corregir would be we are going to correct. I'm interested in the news. You should have had something that looks a bit like this. Oop, not like that. For some reason there we go. So, a mí me interesan las noticias. So, all I really wanted was me interesan las noticias. Interesan because it's plural, you need the N on the end. The news. I don't mind big spiders. A mí me dan igual las arañas grandes. Me dan igual is I don't mind, isn't it? And it's dan again because we're talking about spiders plural. Next, do you like spicy food? So what I wanted was ¿Te gusta la comida picante? ¿Te gusta la comida picante? You could have added a ti. A ti te gusta la comida picante? Cuatro. He's crazy about strawberry ice cream. Le chifla el helado de fresa. Okay? Statement. Le chifla el helado de fresa. Or a él le chifla el helado de fresa. To him, he's crazy about strawberry ice cream. I'm passionate about broccoli. A mí me apasiona el brócoli. So I just wanted me apasiona el brócoli. But if you've got a mí at the front, great. Long beards annoy her. Le molestan las barbas largas. Or a ella le molestan las barbas largas. She doesn't mind tall people. Le da igual la gente alta. Le da igual la gente alta. Or a ella le da igual la gente alta. Tattoos bore me. Me aburren los tatuajes. Aburren with the N because it's plural. Tatuajes, tattoos. A mí me aburren los tatuajes. He isn't worried about climate change. No le preocupa el cambio climático. No le preocupa el cambio climático. You could have the AL at the front if you wanted. Are you mad about green hair? A strange question would be ¿Te mola el pelo verde? ¿Te mola el pelo verde? Or a ti te mola el pelo verde? Don't you like horror films? Will be ¿No te gustan las películas de miedo? ¿No te gustan las películas de miedo? Or a ti no te gustan las películas de miedo? And finally, I enjoy game shows is disfruto de is the expression you need. Disfruto de los concursos. I enjoy, or maybe to think of it as I take pleasure from, because de is of or from in Spanish. Disfruto de los concursos. So guys, we're nearly there. It's a longish sort of session, this. As always, just to remind you that if you need to take a break, just stop the video. Before I finish this session though on liking and disliking, to give you kind of the whole picture, we need to look at the next slide, because you need to understand that, yeah, that's probably the slide I want to show you. So far we've been talking about liking and disliking things, places, people, the leader of the free world, I don't know, spicy food, things like that. But it's very useful for you to understand that you can also use all of these expressions with verbs as well. So here are a selection of verbs in bold. You might well recognise by now, well, hopefully you recognise all of them. Leer, to read. Jugar, to play, as in a sport or a game. Ir, to go. Salir, to go out. Salir, so that's a good way to remember them really. Ir is just to go. Salir, to go out. Hacer, to do. Comprar, to buy. Ver, to see. Practicar can mean to practice, but when you're talking about deportes, as in sport, whether that's football, tennis, baseball, basketball, whatever, practicar often just means to do, as in a sport, practicar, to practice a sport. Reciclar, recycle. Navegar, to navigate. We might say to search in this case, because we're talking about the internet. Cocinar, to cook. Hacer, again, is to do. Now, so rather than saying, I could just say, for example, couldn't I? Me gusta la actividad física. I like physical activity. Okay, actividad física. But you can use all of these phrases with a verb. So I could say, me gusta hacer actividad física. I like to do physical activity. We might also say in English, I like doing physical activity, but the Spanish use the infinitive of the verb, this part of the verb that's got either an AR, ER, or IR. So look, we've got examples of all of the types of verbs here. We've got jugar, for example, an AR verb. Leer, to read, which is an ER verb. And here we've got salir, which is an IR verb. So this is the form of the verb that we add. So we would say, me gusta leer, I like to read. Me gusta jugar, I like to play, and so on. Yeah, so you can probably guess the meanings of quite a few of these things. Leer novelas de misterio is to read mystery novels or sort of suspense novels. Jugar al fútbol, to play football. Ir de compras is a set phrase which means to go shopping. Ir de compras. Salir con mis amigos, to go out with my friends. Hacer tareas domésticas, to do domestic tasks or household tasks. Tareas, tasks, domésticas, kind of household. Comprar is to buy. Comprar en línea is to buy online. Comprar en línea. Ver is to see, so, or to watch actually. So ver deporte en la tele is to watch sport on the telly. Practicar deportes, to do sports. Reciclar basura, to recycle rubbish. Navegar por internet, to navigate on the internet, or basically to search up things on the internet, we might say. Cocinar, comida sana, comida, food. Sana is the adjective healthy. We probably know that already. So that is to cook healthy food. Cocinar, comida sana. Hacer actividad física, to do physical activity. And again, just to finish up, you can do a little bit of work here to show me that you've understood what I'm getting at here. If I wanted to say I'm crazy about buying online or shopping online, will be me chifla comprar en línea. Me chifla comprar en línea. So look, we're using the verb, aren't we? Comprar, to buy. Or it bores me to watch sport on television, or it bores me watching sport on television will be me aburre ver deporte en la tele. Me aburre, me it bores, to watch ver deporte en la tele. I don't mind doing physical activity. Will be me da igual hacer actividad física, for example. Or I'm fascinated, mystery novels fascinate me, will be me fascina, reading mystery novels fascinates me, will be me fascina leer novelas de misterio. Me fascina leer novelas de misterio. Haven't got to worry about putting an N on the end of any of these, because suddenly we're linking up with verbs, not nouns. So whether we're not even in the territory of worrying about plurals or singulars. We are now just hooking up with verbs, doing words, aren't we? We're at 55 minutes, guys. I think that's been quite a long lesson, but I really hope you feel like you've learned quite a bit in that lesson. And that's it for today. Entonces, hasta luego, hasta la próxima vez, adiós.